Good morning and welcome to Namaste today, a spiritual way to begin your day. I'm your heartfelt host and the Sensei to Serious Joy, Christopher Witecki. This audio blogcast is for Tuesday, June 6, 2017. Welcome back, my friend and earthly neighbor. Namaste. Well, my friend, it is a very cloudy and introverted spiritual day, and the universe has a message for you. That is, if you're listening. In today's Zodiac weather, I'll tell you about the step number and a temporary yad. And later in our tea time, a comment from a viewer has led me to believe that it's time to teach you how to baby yourself. But first, let's take a look at today's moods and your Zodiac weather. This Zodiac weather is for Tuesday, June 6, 2017. And my global prediction for planet Gaia is cloudy, overcast, and spiritual today. Step 16 rules the day, and a yad puts an emphasis on spirit. Let's take a look at the planets. Step 16 is one of the lighter and nicer days of a given cycle. The 1 is I love, and the 6 is to receive. Who doesn't love to receive, right? But the only issue with that, of course, may be your mind, Gemini. And that's the universe's point today. I think the universe is going to demonstrate in its own unique and creative way where your mind tends to be closed down to receiving. Now, maybe you're closed down because you're defensive. Maybe you're closed down because you haven't gone through the time to protect, so you don't feel safe. But whatever the reason, try to open up. Today is a day where the universe is giving us a temporary yad. A yad is an isosceles triangle. At the tip of the triangle is the sun at step 16 Gemini. So the universe is saying they want your mind to get something. And at the bottom of the yad, 1 foot is the moon in Scorpio, which is why it's temporary. The moon is a fast-moving planet. And the other foot is in Capricorn, Pluto in Capricorn. So to me, what this yad is saying is, take what your feelings are telling you, take what you have protected in literal reality, take where you have protected when it comes to playing by new rules. So play by new rules, listen to your feelings, and listen to what you sense. What do you sense when you listen to your feelings and you play by your new rules? That answer, I think, will come in one form or another. Sometimes for me, by the way, messages come through the radio, they come through text messages, they're affirmed by Facebook posts. Your soul will know when it's a true message, and this is why you have to listen to yourself to know and receive. So listen to your feelings and pay attention to those small voices in your head. Now, that said, I have some very good news too. Venus today is at step 0 Taurus. The step 0 does indicate that we have a portal to the other side, so today is going to be a very psychic day. But having Venus move into Taurus, I have to say, is quite heavenly. I myself was born with Venus in Taurus, and I know that means that energy and the planet will smooth out to a 5-star experience, at least for a while. Having Venus in Aries has been absolutely tough, not to mention Venus retrograded in Aries, which tripled the length of the time Venus was in her detriment. But now that Venus is in Taurus, although I don't believe Venus rules Taurus, I believe Earth does, Venus and Taurus still go amazingly well together, and you'll find probably a lot of payoffs coming soon. Payoffs in the sense of the first little samplings or sprouts of your manifestation. Payouts in the sense of if someone has owed you money or you've had some material holdback for some reason, I do see the springs opening up and the flowers blooming. So this is a very nice addition to our human experience. Now let's flip the coin over to Mars. Mars, on the other hand, our ego, has moved into Cancer. Moody Cancer, at least that's the way it is when Mars is in the first 11 degrees or 11 steps of Cancer. So the universe is kind of giving us the yin and the yang here. We have Venus looking for our Eden, and we have Mars pushing our feelings around and stirring our emotional subconscious, particularly for the next 12 days or so. This means that you may be prone to anger. You may be prone to violent dreams. Hopefully you will not be prone to violence, but Mars is putting pressure for us to be conscious and act on our feelings. It won't be enough anymore just to think about it, Sun in Gemini. Mars in Cancer says, get off your astro and do something about it now. The good news is that you'll have plenty of energy, Mars, to take care of yourself. The bad news is if you're tired or your emotions are depleted or you're emotionally taxed by something, you will probably have no energy. It will knock that Mars out. So keep in mind, right now, the universe wants you to take care of yourself. It's that old cliche of put your oxygen mask on first before you put on someone else's. One last thing. Mercury today is at step 29 Taurus. That's the last and final tested degree of Taurus. And that means that your mind will have a little bit of a test of staying in integrity, particularly about your manifestations and the things you want to come to fruition. So there will be a tendency to worry about the little chicks or worry about the harvest or worry about whatever it is magic that you are creating. And that, I think, is a bit of a test because today we should not be in our logical mind worrying. We should be in our intuitive mind listening and observing. Now, with that said, I want to give you a little advice on something I call babying yourself. So go steep yourself some tea. Let's have our daily tea time. Hello, dear friend, and welcome to our tea time. Today's tea time topic is baby yourself. And this comes from a viewer's question, actually, because I'm always saying, especially to my Serious Joy subscribers on a given day, today you want to baby yourself. And people have asked, what do you mean by that, Christopher? And I thought, you know what? This is a good thing for a tea time topic because I do have a system of how I baby myself. And because it's so personal, I really hadn't thought about sharing with it, but I realize it's actually a good approach overall. Now, let's do a little backstory here. I actually believe that we are a conglomerate of consciousness that we call a singularity. And I'm talking not about the entire human race, I'm talking about you. If astrology proves me correct, you have 12 separate personalities going on inside yourself. Just like we have these objects that orbit around the sun, we are a system of consciousness. We are not one single consciousness. And each of these 12 different states of awareness, as I call it, are self-aware. That means that they think for themselves without you having to pay attention to them. For instance, your body. Your body thinks for itself. It keeps the heart beating. It will tell you if you're in pain. It will talk to you. Your subconscious will talk to you, particularly in your sleep. Every state of awareness will talk to you. Your ego, when it talks to you, usually feels like anger, for instance. And when your heart talks to you, it feels like love. Each of these states of awareness in our consciousness are really the babies that I'm talking about babying. When I say baby yourself, I really mean to treat these 12 different personalities inside of yourself as a child, as a young child that you are helping to grow up. In fact, I have an interesting theory. I wonder, as humans evolve and deal with these 12 states of awareness, I wonder if there's not a point, perhaps at the time that we ascend, that the 12 states all spin off and become 12 new humans. I believe that there's some sort of spiritual splitting going on, just like there is a cellular splitting. And so it's one of my wild ideas that it's possible that we are literally raising future souls as these 12 different voices inside of ourselves always fight for our attention. Now, when I say baby myself, I really mean that I speak to each part or each state of awareness as if it were one of my own children. So therefore, when my ego gets really upset and angry at something, I do baby talk my ego and say to it something like, "Oh, are you mad? Do you want me to do something? Shall we go kill somebody together?" I know I'm the type of parent that likes to try to make my other states of awareness laugh. Okay, so I'm always trying to really nurture and baby these parts of myself and treat them as a young version of myself I'm trying to help grow up. And truly, these sides of myself are much younger, and there is another side of myself in there that seems to be wise, or at least seems to know how to channel the right information. In fact, I've noticed in my life, and you can probably say as well, 90% of the time we sense the right thing to say and we sense the right thing to do. We just don't listen to that sense. Most of the time when we have a problem with something, if it's our problem, we're confused on what to do. But if our friend or someone else has that problem, suddenly all this advice comes up and we're so sure of ourselves. What I've learned is that we really do have the answer to all of our needs. It's really a matter of how you position yourself amongst yourself in order to have the answer. So for instance, what I have learned is when I am hurting, or a part of myself is hurting, or my heart is hurting, what I have learned is to go into that side of me that's wise and gives readings and ask that side, what should I do for this little hurting part of me? And I'll be damned, the information just comes right through. Now, usually at that point, I sort of giggle to myself because I realize, oh gosh, I have the answer here. This isn't about not knowing. This is about not doing. So babying ourselves, to me, is being a parent to each of our states of awareness. Each state needs a loving, compassion, but gentle leadership over the rest of us. And if you're curious which part of you is boss, it's your heart. The heart is the sun is the center of the solar system. Your heart is the parent. It is our heart which is supposed to respond to our ego. It is our heart which is supposed to respond to our thoughts. It is our heart which is supposed to baby our entire soul. What's really weird in my own little self-analysis is a lot of times I would have a problem with something or just want to throw a total temper tantrum because my ego's upset or my emotions are upset or my body's upset. One of these little areas is, throwing a tantrum. And as soon as I step into my heartfelt voice and begin to baby that side of me, suddenly there's not a problem. It just goes away. And what I've realized is, I don't know if we necessarily have real problems with the earth. I don't know if my body is really upset that I made it run on the treadmill, or my ego is really that upset that so-and-so has done something stupid. I'm starting to think that sometimes when my soul is upset, it's because I have stopped paying attention to my little 12 children. When I don't pay attention, there seems to be a lot of ruckus going on in there. But when I turn around and ask, what's the matter, honey, to any other part of myself, suddenly the problem's gone. I'm starting to believe that what my soul has always wanted was my own attention. And that, my friend, is how we baby ourselves. And as quick review, I'll give you the 12 states, which I call the 11 states of serious joy, which must be parented. First is our protection. We must parent and make sure we're safe. We must parent our heart, step 1. We must parent our emotions, step 2. We must parent our beliefs, which means we don't call ourselves stupid. All right, step 3. We must parent our belonging, which means we hold space to see how things will turn out before we freak out. We must parent our thoughts, which I think is self-evident, right? We must parent our ability to open up, which, by the way, a lot of times people can't open up because there's no parent watching over them. They don't feel safe. We must also parent our spiritual relationship to the other side, which I think we kind of do through church and other means, but that's still not inside of us. We must parent the leader in us, and we must give ourselves accolades for standing up and taking charge of our life. We must parent the ego in us, which means we must have a gentle hand with our ego, so our ego understands this and wants to also give a gentle hand to the world. We must parent our values, which means we protect our sense of value and we protect our self-esteem. And we must parent who we are at the very end of the day, who we become, step 11. And who we become, step 11, is finally that final moment of what it's like to experience this moment right here, right now, which is the obvious and the present. And also, the one state that many people are also obsessed with over the mind is the day-to-day, moment-to-moment of our reality, or our body's consciousness, if you will. Sigmund Freud said we have 3 voices in our head. Carl Jung said that we have many archetypes we live from. And astrology says we have 12 different voices inside of us. No matter what your school of psychology is, it seems that all of these psychologists and spiritualists agree we have many voices inside of us. We all have multiple personality disorders. And this sensei has realized the best way to make sense of it all is to baby yourself. All right, my friends, so grateful to be of soul service to you. Go baby yourself today, and I'll see you tomorrow to play. Until then, remember, I love you, and to live, love, be.
Live, love, be.